Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Jonesboro. And today we have Heather Shrader, and we are talking about autism. And April is Autism Awareness Month. Heather and her husband, Brandon Shrader, have a child with autism and are big advocates and educational proponents of autism awareness. So tell me a little bit about your experience first personally, Heather, with Christian and what you went through during the diagnosis and understanding of what autism is.
Sure, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about autism and what it looks like from a personal standpoint. Christian was diagnosed when he was 5, when we lived in Northwest Arkansas, and I remember that feeling of almost helplessness. It's a feeling that stays with you whenever a doctor tells you that your kid will struggle in certain areas. And I remember leaving without any real direction on where I needed to go to make sure that he had the best chance possible as an autistic person. So as we grew together, I'm learning about his autism, he's learning about his autism. We as a family are trying to relearn what it means to parent a kid, because children with autism are hardwired so differently that the tricks that our parents used on us don't really
Right.
transfer.
Right.
So we're out there and we're gunning for resources, and public school was really it hit us like a train, because public schools, they do the best that they can, but their structure is really buckling under the weight of these diagnoses that come in and the teachers that are trusted to serve them. So when we started out with advocacy, we started out with drumming up those resources, and it was really important that we connected with other families that were going through what we were going through. And through that, we forged lots of training opportunities, and we had the privilege to sit on boards here in Jonesboro, and we're doing the best that we can for other families.
But autism doesn't look the same in every child or every person that suffers it. So that makes it even more difficult for parents, others, because you can be, I guess there's a spectrum, and it's high functioning and then get to low functioning.
It's a spectrum, and if you could just think of it as a sliding scale, like you said, from more of a high functioning to a lower functioning. And it's important to remember that just because an autistic person seems high functioning, it doesn't really mean that they experience their autism in a lesser way. They've either become very skilled at masking their autism, or they've learned the tricks and the trades through intervention. And but you're correct, there is no one autistic person is the same. Now, there are characteristics to look for in an autistic person, and usually a pediatrician can catch that quickly. Some signs to look for are, regression, nonverbal, toe walking, hand flapping, restricted interest is a big one. Christian's restricted interests were dinosaurs for the longest. Before he could read, he could tell me what a Parasaurolophus was, and I just have always been so amazed at his restricted interest and his ability to really dive in and retain so much cool information.
It is not a reflection on intelligence. What I think probably for decades and probably centuries, people didn't understand is this has only been diagnosed. My lifetime's been a while, a little bit now, but only in the last, 40 years or so has this been commonly diagnosed or really readily understood?
It has. The strides have really come in the last 20 years as far as what diagnosis looks like. 1 in 54 people, according to the CDC, is affected by autism. And it's not that there are more autistic people today than there were, 50 years ago.
Right.
It's just that we know what it looks like now, and we know how to treat it. So.
You are with a group called Sageway, and tell me how you found them and what Sageway does.
Well, Sageway actually found me, and I'm so glad that they did. Before then, I worked in law for a very long time, and I very much enjoyed it. I thought that law school was in the future for me. But through advocacy for Christian and the connections that I'd made, and there was some legislation that I was involved with last year to help protect children with autism and disabilities in school districts, Sageway approached me with an opportunity to build something in Jonesboro that would serve children and families with autism in a way that they've never been served before. What we do at Sageway is applied behavioral analysis, or ABA therapy.
Okay.
ABA therapy is a very specific, targeted type of behavioral intervention that focuses on deficit areas. And as we know, no autistic person looks the same. Their deficit areas could look very different. So what we do is assess each individual client's needs, their deficit areas, and we help reshape any sort of problem behavior that they may be experiencing, or if they're lacking in any sort of basic skills, because autism is not an IQ thing. It's not
Right.
an intellectual disability. Now, an intellectual disability can co-occur with autism, but autism is a communication and social delay. So a lot of our kids that come in, they have trouble making friends, they have trouble forming relationships, they have trouble communicating. So we sit case by case, we sit down and think, okay, this is where these are this family's goals, this is where this child needs to be in order for them to experience life to the fullest and to have the skills that they need to integrate as independently as possible. So that's what we do there.
Well, and Heather, as having friends with children with autism, I see the importance of understanding what you can do, because every kid can have, just like any child, can have a better outcome with understanding and manage autism a little bit better. I know there are limits, but you can do better and make a better life for a kid. Is that what you've seen?
That's what we are seeing. I think that the most rewarding thing about the intervention that we offer at our clinic is that parents will bring in their children and we'll begin working with them, and we start seeing results so immediately because we're working one-to-one and we're not throwing spaghetti at the wall and just seeing what works. We have a goal in mind, and so when we're one-to-one all day long, which at Sageway there's a therapist and a client that work together on their behavior plan, the results happen so fast. And some parents have kind of restricted, almost in a glass ceiling way, of what their child is able to do. And it's not an uncommon thing to happen, but it's so rewarding to show a parent, like, no, they're feeding themselves, they're dressing themselves, they're using sign language, they're verbally prompting whenever they need something. And so just pushing the parent as we're pushing the client, and then also offering that support in other environments. So ABA is something that we do in the clinic at Sageway, but we can also do it at our client's home. We can do it in the community. We can go grocery shopping together. We can go to church. We can play on the playground and just teach how we can safely function in society and enjoy.
Where is the Sageway office, and how do people contact you?
So we're at 2929 South Caraway here in Jonesboro. We'll have our grand opening on April 22nd. I hope that you'll be there.
I'll be proudly.
I just can't wait to show off this clinic. It's the first of its kind in Jonesboro. We focus solely on ABA and solely on autism and supporting these families and training families. So it's showing off this clinic and it being such a dream that I've had in the past, watching it come into fruition and just watching it fill up so quickly, and it is just really awesome to see.
Do you feel like you have, and Sageway has right now, a good feel on the number of kids or adults in Jonesboro with autism?
I think that we are well on our way, and it happened so quickly that we're looking at other locations because we have so many clients to serve and so many families that need training and support, which is it's a good problem to have.
Right.
Because intervention and therapy and access to service in Northeast Arkansas is just on the up and coming, and I want people to understand that if they see areas of delays or deficit areas in their children, it's important to talk to their pediatricians just as soon as possible and ask about ABA, whether it's Sageway or another provider. ABA is crucial to reshaping behavior and giving folks the tools that they need to succeed.
And it has to be, there's a lot, because you're having to help adults too. You're having to help the parents, you're having to help the family, because you need to have that positive reinforcement to believe that your child can achieve more and can accomplish this, because it's not everyday child rearing.
Right.
You know.
It's different, and it's, if anything, I want parents and families to know in Jonesboro and in Northeast Arkansas that they don't have to do it alone. That sometimes being a parent of a child with a disability can look like you're on your own little island, and it's different going to birthday parties, and it's different shopping and integrating or going to the movies or, you know, hopping over to hijinks. So what happens is that a lot of families will isolate and they don't really get together with each other and do life with each other and support. So it's something that we're looking forward to doing here in Jonesboro, taking a collaborative approach, bringing in families, introducing them to each other, and letting them interact with people that get it. I have clients that live within a block of each other that don't even know each other. And it's just, I know it's on the horizon there as Sageway partners with other organizations that are very autism geared and family geared. It's on the horizon that we create a more structured oasis for kids and their parents with autism to.
Well, it has to be critical, I think, for parents to be able to talk to people who understand.
It is.
But I wonder, do you find that for your son Christian, how old is Christian?
Christian will be 11 next week.
My goodness. Happy birthday, Christian. And, but the social part of it, is that important for him? Do you see him happier if he's social, or is that too much?
Christian is a happy kid. I mean, he loves socializing. I think his group will hit in college or as an adult because he connects so much better with adults, and you know, kids don't really like to hear about the stock market and where Disney's buying out and all the.
I might need to hang out with him a little bit.
he's got a way with his words, and the way that his ability to see things in a world where we live in filters and we're always putting on a show, his ability to see things for what they truly are. He's truly a mirror. He mirrors what I am and what his environment is, and he calls it like he sees it. And I'm just ready for him to, as he says, become the next Elon Musk. He's pretty confident that that's his future.
I love it, and it might be.
I am too. I'm confident.
Well, tell us how we can get involved. How can the average Jonesboro resident that cares about its community get involved?
Well, it starts at many different levels. I'd say if you ever in your environment or a restaurant, or you see a kid that's, you know, just turning up in the restaurant or out on the floor, maybe take into consideration that that kid isn't a bad kid. That kid is struggling in his environment. And if you are a business owner, I definitely suggest reaching out to get involved with local nonprofit organizations. There are many that could use the support. The Northeast Arkansas Autism Association is one. Ag for Autism does great work in their community-given grants. They raise the money in the community, and then they disperse it out through various grants to families that really need the support. Sageway Behavioral Health, we're a company that takes a lot of pride in taking a collaborative approach. If you know someone that needs a diagnosis, encourage them to talk to their pediatrician, and if it's something that we can help with, we want to be there for that too. I can't say enough good things about Miracle League. Those ball games are coming up and registration's open. If you want to get out in the community, if you want to meet other families that experience the world of disabilities, it's just a great place. And you don't even have to know anyone with a disability. It's just a really cool thing to be involved in. And in terms of city government, police, fire, I'm all about offering training and support in areas if they have any questions on how to keep people with autism safe in their community, or what it looks like, and emergency response for people with autism. That's definitely, the training opportunities will be available soon.
You know, and you reminded me of something, Heather, when you said that. We have the ability on our website at jonesboro.org to register your address and let our first responders know that you have someone in the house with special needs, whether it be range from autism to just an elderly person that's less able. And I think that's a really smart, underused tool for people, because if there was a fire or some sort of accident or a tornado come through at your home, it's good. It's a way for first responders to know that this house has someone who might not be able to either take care of themselves or help in such a situation. And I think that's one of many tools, I guess, we would have to fight advocate for our people with special needs.
Yeah.
And I think what you guys do at Sageway, and you said the NEA Autism
The Northeast Arkansas Autism Association.
It's a great thing. This is April, and it's National Autism Month. And Heather and Brandon Shrader, who works for the city in the Parks Department, and their son Christian, we are so happy that you're here and helping the people in the autism community. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.